Hello and welcome to episode number 77 of WITM. We are just 6 days away from SummerSlam, which means it is time for the Go Home Raw and SmackDown before SummerSlam, emanating from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, the same arena where we just had NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and saw Serena retain her NXT Women's Championship. Lots of possibilities for SummerSlam. We could see the AA Hardcore Cruisers going after the Raw Tag Team titles. We could see one of the AA Hardcore Cruisers, Andrew Austin Aries, going after the United States Championship. We could see Andrew getting a Universal title match. We could see Andrew defending his Cruiserweight Championship. We could see Corey getting an Intercontinental title rematch or potentially a WWE Championship rematch. Tons of possibilities are, and we could see Serena getting a Raw Women's Championship match. The possibilities are nearly endless for what could happen involving the WITM roster at SummerSlam. We're going to get those answers soon, but first it's time for the Go Home shows before SummerSlam, starting with the Go Home Raw. That's going to see the AA Hardcore Cruisers taking on the New Day, represented by Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, accompanied by Big E. So let's get this Go Home Raw before SummerSlam started. Alright, we start off with a promo from Emma, the Raw Women's Champion. And our opening match is Samoa Joe versus Curt Hawkins. Huge upset victory for Curt Hawkins. And then Emma takes on Bayley, and it's a non-title victory for Bayley, who will move up 2 spots in the Raw Women's rankings. Nia Jax takes on Natalya, and it's a victory for Natalya. The Raw Tag Team Champions, Enzo and Cass, take on the Hype Bros, and it's a non-title victory for the Hype Bros. That may be good enough to cement the Hype Bros into a match at SummerSlam for the Raw Tag Team titles against Enzo and Cass. Kevin Owens takes on Dolph Ziggler, and it's a victory for Kevin Owens. And our next match is the New Day, represented by Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, accompanied by Big E taking on the AA Hardcore Cruisers. Now, I did want to have a promo featuring Andrew and Stephanie, this being the Go Home Raw, but with the dumb thing that you cannot have 2 people of an opposite gender in a video at the same time, I'll just say Stephanie came out before and said, Andrew, I know how much Andrew, who is currently the number 1 contender, but will not have an opportunity to defend that number 1 contendership in a singles match, saying, Andrew, I know how crucial tonight is for you, following yours and Cena's little plan for SummerSlam being foiled. I know how crucial tonight is for you for gaining that number 1 contendership, which is exactly why I booked you in a tag team match. Tag team matches, of course, having little to no bearings on singles rankings. So Andrew's going to have to pick up a victory tonight and then hope that we have a new U.S. champion. Andrew needs the reverse result of the one he was hoping for before Andrew needed John Cena to successfully cash in his Money in the Bank and become Universal Champion, so that we would see Cena versus Andrew at SummerSlam for the Universal title. But Cena, unfortunately, failed to cash in his Money in the Bank. Dean Ambrose retained the Universal title, and now Andrew needs the opposite result. If Andrew wants to still be number 1 contender following this week, he needs a Dean Ambrose victory over John Cena that would see Dean Ambrose become the new United States champion. John Cena is the number 2 contender, and with a victory over Dean Ambrose, he would move up past Andrew and become the number 1 contender and likely get the Universal title shot instead of Andrew, unless again decides to book a triple threat or something. So, Andrew needs a victory here against the New Day, alongside Austin Aries, and then a Dean Ambrose victory in the main event. So, important Raw for Andrew, tons of possibilities for him. We could see him in a match for really any of the titles on Raw. We could see him getting a Raw Tag Team title shot. We could see either WWE Hardcore Cruisers get a U.S. title shot. We could see Andrew get a Universal title shot. We could see Andrew defend his Cruiserweight title. The possibilities are endless for Andrew, Aries, the WWE Hardcore Cruisers. Let's start getting some answers as the New Day takes on the WWE Hardcore Cruisers in our episode 77 action and the Go Home Raw before SummerSlam.
The match we have next is going to be awesome. Stay where you are.
We have the New Day taking on an imposing force.
Man, social media's already buzzing. Just imagine what'll happen when the match starts.
Listen up, there's not a moment to spare. It's quite a drop from the top, so how you feeling down there? It's a cold, cruel, harsh reality. Caught, stuck here with your enemies. Who do you think you are? Tearing us all apart. Where did you think you could go? 'Cause everyone already knows it's 20 to 1. Yes, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me but enemies. Enemies. You started something that you just couldn't stop. You turned the ones that you love into the angriest mob. And the one last wish is that you pay for it. And there's no way you're getting out of this. Who do you think you are? Tearing us all apart. Where did you think you could go? 'Cause everyone already knows it's 20 to 1. Yes, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me but enemies.
Oh, WWE Universe, don't you dare be sour. Clap for the greatest thing going and feel the power. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
The time is now, the moment is here. Get rid of your fears, no time for the tears. Because the future is ours, 'cause we got the power in the palm of our hand, given the chance, you know. And when it seems everything's wrong and the pressure is on, that's when it's time to be strong. Just look in the mirror and wipe your face. Step up to the plate, 'cause it's time to be great. So come on and embrace the new day. Come on and live life a new way. Don't stop till you reach the top, and while them haters keep hating, you'll be winning a race. It's a new day, a new way of living. You see it and want it, you gotta believe you can get it. Open your eyes and see your dreams and the days from more hoping and wishing. We are the privileged. Through faith, all things are possible. And with the power inside, ain't no stopping you. We won't hesitate to fight for a better day until we inevitably claim.
What makes all of us hate? We're all the same. We're all the dice that we play your game. We complicate, show us the way. Before it's too late and the whole thing breaks. We have a need, we all create. Everything else from mistakes we made. We'll make a change, we'll concentrate before we suffocate. Can't hold this in and keep it quiet any longer. We're falling in and now this feeling's getting stronger. Take my breath away now. I'm trying to get up. I'm trying to retrace my steps back to wherever I messed up.
Alright, so here we go. Last week on 205 Live, we saw Andrew square off against Xavier Woods and pick up a victory. The game originally wanted this match to take place on 205 Live, but because Kofi Kingston is not a cruiserweight, hard to believe, but he is not in fact a cruiserweight, that match could not take place. It became a singles match between Andrew and Xavier Woods that Andrew won, and now this match does take place on Raw, where of course there is no weight restriction.
Talk us through what Xavier Woods is thinking right now.
Xavier targets the head of Andrew.
Sometimes greater than the whole. What can we expect here?
Reversal by Andrew.
These two work so well together as a team.
We're looking at a tag team
Especially with the Hype Bros getting that non-title victory earlier on Raw against Enzo and Cass. A victory here is crucial for either team, especially the AA Hardcore Cruisers, if they want any hope of challenging Enzo and Cass for those Raw Tag Team titles at SummerSlam.
Xavier Woods' superior intellect, superb conditioning, and
Of course, Andrew's main focus is that Universal Championship, taking on the Lunatic Fringe at SummerSlam, attempting to gain the Universal Championship that it could argue should still be his, but should plan not to come to fruition, I'm sure a Raw Tag Team title opportunity would be a nice alternative for Andrew.
impressive suplex.
Tagged in Austin Aries, reversal by Kofi Kingston. And a reversal by Aries. Forces Kofi to his feet.
This is a level of destruction no one was expecting.
Slam by
Didn't
Aries.
expect to see this kind of damage.
New Day is one of the few teams that does have a victory over the AA Hardcore Cruisers
It's safe to say he underwent special
in a
training
previous
to put on
match on Raw, in
this
which
kind of area
the team of Big E and Kofi Kingston represented the New Day
Moves like that at this
against
stage, you're not to win any match.
the AA Hardcore Cruisers. How will the AA Hardcore Cruisers fare this time along against a different lineup from the New Day?
And
may be felt for a lifetime.
Reversal by Kofi. Andrew back in the ring.
Kofi Kingston looks stunned by
Punch
that.
to the back.
You have to assume
A
his
big
partner is
bulldog.
just
I believe
itching to get
Kofi's
in there
head caught the
right
ropes
about
there.
now. Michael, we're going to see what this guy is made of.
Well said, John, and now's the time for one
Punch
of
to
these guys
Kofi.
to take hold of this match.
Forces Kofi to his feet. Trip into the corner. Tags in Austin Aries. And a stomp to the knee of Kofi. Aries now the legal man. Reversal by Kofi.
King, earlier you talked about Xavier Woods'
Kofi
variety of
tags
skills,
in
and
Xavier
something that
Woods.
impresses me just as much as his strikes in acrobatics is his knowledge of different holds.
Hurricane
and submissions.
Rana.
Woods is highly educated in the art of submission wrestling, counters, and
Stomp to the
reversals.
arm.
Well, Cole, Xavier Woods can put a beating on an opponent in so many different ways.
Reversal by Aries.
And he
Reversal
it
by
right there.
Xavier.
He's starting to stumble here. Headed into this match, he and his partner look extremely confident. I tell you, we knew this was going to be
Xavier to the apron. Wants Aries to get to his feet.
What a match.
It's a good point, John. And I'd say this match is about as even as it
And
could get at this
springboard drop kick connects by Xavier Woods.
point. Oh,
Reversal by Aries.
This
Now
is what
targeting
makes
the
him one of
arm.
the best in the business.
Aries locked in the last chancery.
Incapacitate that appendage.
Oh, the longer he stays in this, the closer he is to losing. Whoa.
But Xavier is able to turn over and break the hold.
He's having some fun now. Xavier Woods
Running elbow by Austin
And you have to
Aries.
assume his partner is just itching
Aries
to
is
get in
thinking
there. Right about
brainbuster.
now. This guy is fine. Don't worry about it. You gotta
And it
believe
connects.
this one's over. Finisher. This
Goes
match
for
can
cover.
end quickly if the referee counts.
And Xavier powers out at 2. Aries forces Xavier to his feet. Trip into the Hardcore Cruiser's corner. Tags in Andrew. Andrew comes off the ropes for a big kick to the face of Xavier. Trip into the corner. Reversal by Xavier. Trip to the ropes. Big kick by Xavier. Xavier in the corner. What does he have in mind? And a splash. Crowd game behind the New Day. Slams the knee of Andrew into the canvas. Trip into the New Day corner.
And he gets the tag.
Going for a move that the WWE Hardcore Cruisers have adopted from the New Day for themselves, but originated by the New Day, the Unicorn Stampede. And Xavier sends Kofi flying into Andrew with a drop kick.
He's really done his homework for this match.
Kofi goes for the cover,
Will he be victorious?
I think this is it.
and Andrew powers out at 2.
You
Kofi
can
to the
practically
apron.
Feel the wear and tear that's been done throughout this
Springboard
match.
splash connects.
He saw that one coming.
Reversal by Andrew.
He's in position.
Takes a moment
Ready
to
strike.
celebrate and fire up the WWE Universe. Forces Kofi to his feet. Trip into the corner.
I just can't get over the physicality
Bulldog.
of this match. This has been brutal.
Brutal and very, very painful for these guys.
He's sending a message to the entire
Goes for
He's
cover.
hoping to end it quickly. 2. He's showing no
Kofi
signs of
powers
letting
out at 2.
Boy, he was able to
Reversal by
reverse
Kofi with an elbow.
He's on the defensive
Reversal
now.
by Andrew.
This tag team match is dangerous.
Reversal by Kofi.
Getting out of control for him.
Reversal by Andrew.
Finisher has already failed to end this thing, which has to have him concerned.
Well, I don't think at this point that
Goes
we
for
can
the
count
stump
anyone
puller.
out just yet. Let's just wait and see.
Forces Kofi to his feet, but reversal by Kofi Kingston.
Always seems to hit the floor at
Drags
least
Andrew
once
closer to
before
center
he gets
ring.
the match. This guy's unreal.
Looking for the boom drop, and it connects. Crowd gets behind Kofi Kingston. Elbow drop to the leg. Forces Andrew to his feet. Arrow trip into the corner.
Man, ooh, nice counter.
Reversal by Andrew. Arrow trip into the Hardcore Cruiser's corner. Series of strikes. Kofi hanging on the ropes. What does Andrew have in mind? Andrew goes outside the ring. Drop kick to the face of Kofi Kingston, hanging over the ropes.
He needs to find a way to create some space or else this thing's over.
Andrew goes for a cover.
I think this is it. 2.
And that's going to lead to a double Hardcore Cruisers victory. So an important match before SummerSlam. It's a tag team victory for the double Hardcore Cruisers over the New Day. Now Andrew goes backstage. In gorilla position, he'll pay close attention to the next match, the main event between John Cena and Dean Ambrose, with big implications for Andrew. Five patches in and still no fix for the tag team victory celebration. Okay then. But nonetheless, it is a big victory for the Hardcore Cruisers. It will remain to be seen whether that is good enough for a tag team title shot against Enzo and Cass
Main event time, folks.
at
Here we go. Singles match on tap
SummerSlam.
next. We have one of our breakout talents.
But we do
In a match
know.
I am sure we will not soon forget.
But what we do know is this next match, the main event, in the next chapter of John Cena's United States Open Challenge, where he has been very impressive so far, is a very important one, not only with the obvious U.S. title implications, but for the number one contendership implications to the Universal title held by Dean Ambrose as well. Andrew is currently the number one contender to the Universal title. However, a victory for John Cena and a retention of the U.S. title would put Andrew in that number one contendership slot and put him in position to face Ambrose again at SummerSlam for that Universal title. So, if Cena wins, he remains U.S. champion and becomes number one contender to the Universal title, leapfrogging over Andrew. If Ambrose wins, he remains obviously Universal Champion, becomes U.S. Champion, and Andrew remains number one contender to the Universal title. So here we go. We have a new U.S. Champion. Dean Ambrose is the new U.S. Champion. And Andrew will go into SummerSlam, the number one contender. Of course, that's not guaranteed that Andrew will be the man booked for that match, but it definitely increases the odds. Alright, so let's give Dean Ambrose his U.S. title. Apparently, Dean Ambrose wasn't even in contention for the U.S. title because of the Open Challenge. Of course, that match ended up being for the U.S. title. So... Alright, we'll move Cena up the rankings. Alright, so Dean Ambrose now holds all the singles gold on Raw, Universal, and US Champion. And now we move on to the Go Home SmackDown before SummerSlam. Will we see Corey in action as he continues to petition to Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon for a WWE Championship match against Finn Balor at SummerSlam? We have a triple threat between Charlotte, Aaliyah, and Billie Kay. Big Show takes on Jinder Mahal. Eva Marie takes on Nikki Bella. Cesaro and Sheamus takes on Beauty and the Man Beast. Roman Reigns takes on AJ Styles. And Finn Balor takes on Seth Rollins. We are not going to see Corey in action in the Go Home SmackDown Live before SummerSlam. But we are going to have a promo involving him. So stay tuned for that. So, episode 78, Go Home SmackDown Live before SummerSlam. Corey's going to petition one last time for a WWE Championship match against that man you see on your screen. The Demon King, Finn Balor, WWE Champion. He petitions one last time before SummerSlam. And then, of course, we will have our in-ring action. It could be Serena on NXT. It could be Serena on Main Event. It could be Andrew on 205 Live. We will have to see. But that does it for episode 77. Until number 78, this is Corey, signing off.